Good afternoon, Norcal Karters. It is December 28th, and it is 1:30, and this is our new format for the Norcal Karters show. I'm going to do the event shows completely separate from any special guest, etc., and we're just going to knock them out. We're going to try to keep the show between 10 and 15 minutes long, so this will be the new format for the next couple of months. I'll go live with it, but you could always go back and listen to the recording or download it. And the reason I'm doing them live is just faster to get them online and it's done. So if you happen to listen when we're live, you can chat, you can send me a text, etc. If you're listening to them on a recorded method, you can always send us a message for events or information we can mention in our next weekly podcast. And the other thing, so we're going to have a really busy show today. There's a lot of events that are posting their calendars. There's a lot of promoters that are posting their schedules. And if you want your events on the calendar, I've mentioned this before, I do offer a premium event listing, which allows you to have more information on your listing. It goes on norcalkarters.com's calendar. It links to your page, whether you want it to link to social or a registration page or pretty much anywhere you want on the internet. I can link it to those sites. But as I'm going through, even with the promoters that are supporting our website, I'm finding it hard to find some of this information. And I'm sitting here asking myself, if I have a hard time finding it, how is a new karter or somebody interested in our sport going to find this information? And I do recognize that one of my duties as Norcal Karters is to bring all the information to one source, and I am working on that. But if it takes me 45 minutes to find an event or a banquet or information, my attention span's about 4.5 seconds. I'm going to move on to the next one. So please, if you're a track, if you're a promoter, if you are listening to this, make your information easy and accessible. And if you have a mailing list, put norcalkarters@gmail.com on that mailing list, so I know when information is coming out. Because right now they're such a weird world that we're in. There's so many different ways to communicate, yet information is so hard to get across. So just some food for thought as you organize your websites or calendars or your messaging to your racers this year. Make it easy so it's not lost in the jungle of the internet there. So with that being said, I don't want to get too distracted because, again, I'm really going to work hard on making these event podcasts quick, easy, and dirty. All the information can be found on norcalkarters.com. So if you go to norcalkarters.com, you can click on the calendar link, and a lot of this information or events are going to be on that calendar. So first, sponsors. We have some sponsors. Gorilla Barbecue. GorillaBarbecue.com, GFC Karting, GFCKarting.com, and Extra Kart Parts, ExtraKartParts.com. We appreciate your support of Norcal Karters, and if you're listening to this and you're wondering how you can support Norcal Karters, we have many different ways. Recently, we've added live stream interviews. We have our calendar. We have NorcalKarters.com, where we now have banner ads available. We have so many different options for supporters of NorCal to get their name out there, or just to support the project. If you want to sponsor a how-to karting video, let me know. I have pages of ideas and such, and it really just comes down to time versus putting money in the bank account and what to prioritize. So if you're out there and it's like, oh, no, I kind of like what Jason's doing and I want to support him, and there's a video out there of how to change your axle that you would like to see, reach out to me. You know, I can change an axle. I know how to do that stuff. And we can work on doing the video for you, get your name in there. And then it also allows more content for new racers to come in and check it out and go, oh, that's how you change an axle. And honestly, some of my videos are very primitive and very basic. I have videos on how to measure your bearings, what bearings are in my cart, what length wheel hubs do I have. And some of you veterans are out there probably shaking your head going, man, that is pretty basic. But if you're a kart shop, do yourself a favor. Sell stuff on Craigslist and Facebook. And when people ask you questions, ask yourself, do I have that resource? Do I have the ability to quickly answer that question? And you'll find the same questions come through over and over and over again. And again, as us veterans, we've been in the sport for a long time. We go, man, that's such a stupid question. But you have to ask yourself, do you remember when you first started and how many questions did you have? So again, some food for thought. There's a lot of ways to support the Norcal Karters project. It's, I have somebody else helping me out behind the scenes, Ashley Veloz. So she's kind of lit some fire under me this year. Every year it seems like somebody new steps up and kind of lights a fire under my ass. And I love it. I mean, it pushes Norcal Karters more and more. And, again, when I'm done with this thing, it'd be nice to have a pretty comprehensive library of YouTube videos of how-tos, how to get into karting, how to do this, how to do that. So that is the overall objective of Norcal Karters. So back to my sponsors, Gorilla Barbecue, GFC Karting, and Extra Kart Parts. Thank you for your support of Norcal Karters. Also, thank you to our tracks and promoters that have supported Norcal Karters in 2021 or previously. We have the Challenge of the Americas, which we just confirmed today. They're back for 2022 supporting the Norcal Karters calendar. So we will get to Andy's events here in a moment. But Challenge of Americas, their website, challengekarting.com. Sonoma Rock Cup, they're back for another year. And Prairie City Karting, they have confirmed that they're back for another year of supporting the Norcal Karter project. So right now I'm in the process of reaching out to all the clubs and the promoters to support the site. If I haven't called you yet, it's just because honestly, a part of me was waiting until the new year. But I'm not going to not mention the ones that supported us in the past. So we also have Northern Nevada Kart Club, NCK Road Racers, and CCKRA, the Central California Kart Racing Association. Those were all the additional clubs that stepped up last year and helped support Norcal Karters, which really, I took all the money that I made and I dumped it right back into the website. I upgraded the website. I upgraded the calendar. I paid for, more subscriptions for the calendars and the website, so it's a little bit more user-friendly. And the whole idea is to bring way more value to our sponsors. And in the back end, I see it happening already. So thank you to the support. I mean, it is appreciated. Thank you. And your money isn't going to waste. Like I said, I took all the money, plus a little bit extra that Visa sponsored me with, and dumped it right back into the website. We started doing the live stream, and the goal of Norcal Karters from a financial standpoint is to basically have 2022 paid for as soon as possible and start making a dent on 2023. And what this will allow us to do is really budget and maybe even subsidize some of our live streaming programs, going to the tracks instead of having to rely on someone paying for that. It would be nice to get to a point where that's being subsidized and we can bring the cost down to the promoters of the tracks so they're not absorbing all of it, so we can do more live race coverage. We can do more live interviews. I really want to get in a lot more lifestyle videos too, because me personally, I don't sit there and watch a lot of racing like motorsports, but I do watch a lot of the off the track type stuff. Not the drama. I don't like the drama, But I like to get to know each character, whether it's a racing series or one of my favorite interview shows is Hot Ones. And I think Sean Evans does an excellent job of interviewing his guests. But he really just gets into their background. And it's kind of corny because they're doing it over hot wings. But he's an excellent interviewer. And so, I watch a lot of that type of stuff. And I kind of see Norcal Karters doing that too. We have so many neat people in karting with so many different backgrounds. And for years, I've always wanted to kind of just go around and learn those stories. So again, a lot of goals for Norcal Karters in the next coming years. And what is that saying? It just takes time and money. So that's what we're working on. Let's see here. So we were talking about the clubs that supported in 2021 and the ones that are confirmed for 2022. Again, confirmed 2022 calendar supporters. Challenge of the Americas. Then we have Sonoma Rock Cup. And we have Prairie City Karting. Those are the confirmed supporters for 2022. So if you want to get your name added to that list, just reach out to me. You also get extra attention on the weekly events podcasts. And for the other special guest podcasts, I call my sponsors first when I'm looking to fill dates. So, again, just trying to find different ways to bring the tracks and the promoters value with this Norcal Karters platform. And I keep mentioning live stream. So the past couple of weeks, I had one live stream. I called it 3 Dudes from Sonoma. So we had 3 guys on from Sonoma: D. Baldwin, Steve Piggott, Pat Beckly. All 3 of those gentlemen raced the limited 125 shifter class. And we had them on for a live stream. You can find it on Facebook or you can find it on YouTube. You can also find it on norcalkarters.com. I'm working the videos page a little bit differently for norcalkarters.com. So in the future, it'll be easier just to kind of click on it and go. But that's probably about a week or 2 out. But that was a good interview. And if you're asking yourself, well, why those guys? It was really actually pretty simple. Steve Piggott came on to my very first live stream show that we did as a test. So we had a number of my friends on there, and they were just really my guinea pigs to help me test out the live stream. Well, Steve Piggott's connection kept dropping out. And at the time, we didn't know what happened. And so I reached out to him after the test episode was over. I go, hey, what happened? He goes, nah. He goes, I was hearing a bunch of noise and everything was pixelated. And he goes, I was listening to the podcast. Then when I dropped off, he goes, everything cleared up. So he goes, I knew it was my connection. And so I just said, Steve, all right, well, why don't you gather a couple of your buddies and let's do a podcast and we'll go from there. And knowing that he runs a 125 limited shifter class at Sonoma, I said, why don't you bring those guys on and we'll talk about, that class and the popularity of it. So that was a fun live stream to do with those guys. And last night, we had Team GFC on with the Director of Operations, Sonny Cervelli. We also had Wes Boswell, the mechanic, the kart tuner. At one time, he used to race. The World Tire Changing Champion, Wes Boswell, was on the show. And we also had Aryton Littell. He is also a kart racer. He's been racing at the Sonoma track this past year. He is also a shop owner, and he's a dealer for the GFC karting brand. And they joined us, Ashley and myself, on the podcast last night. So again, you can find that on Facebook. You can find that on YouTube. If I'm going really fast, all of this information is on norcalkarters.com. So let's get to the events. So coming up immediately, Blue Max Kart Club. There is a swap meet at the Blue Max Kart Club on January 15th. So I have a post on Facebook that I created an event page. I didn't ask them for permission. Hopefully they're fine with it. If not, I'll delete it and move on. But they have a karting swap meet. It's free to buyers. It's free to sellers. The reason I created the event page on Facebook, if you are a buyer or if you are a seller and you have items you're looking for or looking to sell, post on that event page. Let's get some excitement going for this thing. Swap meets are also a great way to introduce your buddies that may have questions about karting. And, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that's this way. But in my real life, and people start asking me about karting and it's very, like, kind of basic questions, and it's like, what about this? What about that? Sometimes I dive deep into the conversation, and sometimes I just, being it's my full-time thing, it's like, can I just, like, recreate and hang out? A swap meet is a great way to bring new people and expose them to the sport of karting. There's going to be a number of sellers out there. There's going to be a wide variety of karts. There's going to be current karts. There's going to be old karts. How do I know this? Because I have a bunch of current karts and I have a bunch of old karts that I'm selling. I have old equipment. I have new equipment. I have rims. I have tires. I have axles. Right? That's just me. My buddy Dennis is planning on being out there. He has a bunch of stuff and he focuses on the dirt karting segment of karting. So it's a great way to bring in one of your buddies that asks you those questions all the time. Get them out to the track. Let them see what stuff costs. Let them talk to other people. It's going to be at the Blue Max Kart Club. I imagine Blue Max is going to have staff members there. Let them ask them questions about how much does it cost for a membership? What classes do you offer? How often do you race? Again, the swap meets are a great way to get new people into the sport and ask those questions. So January 15th, there is a karting swap meet at Blue Max Kart Club. Prairie City Awards Banquet is also on January 15th. So Prairie City Awards Banquet, January 15th. CCKRA Awards Banquet. That is taking place on January 15th as well. And then we have the Sonoma Awards Banquet. Sonoma Awards Banquet is taking place on February 5th. So those are the banquets that are coming up. And again, Sonoma Awards Banquet, February 5th. CCKRA, January 15th. Prairie City, January 15th. If I'm missing your banquet, especially if you were a supporter of our series, of our website last year, please reach out to me so I can get those on the calendar and I can share that with our listeners. And those are the award banquets coming up and special events. Like I said, the swap meet on January 15th at the Blue Max Kart Club in Davis. And I'm blasting through this list. So give me one moment here. And again, all this information can be found on NorcalKarters.com. January 16th, Karts and Coffee. So that's down in Modesto, the third Sunday of every month at the McHenry Village. They basically piggyback off the Cars and Coffee event. So it's Karts and Coffee down there in Modesto at the McHenry Village from 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Again, another way to expose karting to people. Bring a kart out. Attend a Karts and Coffee. Just start talking about it. If you're a junior driver and you're looking for sponsors, if you're not out doing these kind of things with your own karting equipment, you may need to reevaluate some of the stuff you're doing to find sponsors. You may not find a sponsor at a Cars and Coffee. I'm not going to say you will. But it's going to put you in front of people. They're going to ask you questions. You're going to be able to take those questions and go back home. It's like, oh yeah, those are good questions. I might need to know that down the road as I'm looking for $1 million for my next car ride and how to answer these questions and how to polish myself. So again, just food for thought. And there's so many different ways we can promote the sport of karting that I think just goes untapped. Let's see. Cars and Coffee, January 16th. Like I said, there's so much information going on right now. A lot of events, a lot of promoters are putting their stuff out. Bear with me for 1 second. Here we go. Okay, Challenge of the Americas. Registration is open for Challenge of the Americas. You can go to challengekarting.com. There, season kickoff, January 28th through the 30th, and that is going to be in Tucson, Arizona. Again, this is on challengekarting.com to register for the event. And the Challenge Karting, they are a Vortex series. So they are the West Coast National Series for the Vortex Rock Cup products. And they are kicking off their series January 28th through the 30th. And give me one moment here. Sometimes I get ahead of myself with when I start doing these shows, because there's always information coming in, and if I waited until I had everything organized, I would just never do a single show, because it's ongoing. So what I was looking up, Challenge Karting. It looks like the 100cc class is still going to be a mixed platform with the IAMI 100cc and the Vortex VLR for the 100cc classes at Challenge of the Americas. So that should be very good news to you racers out there that have one or the other package. I know Sonoma is working on that as well. So I'm sure as soon as I have official word from Steve Cameron, that will go out on the podcast as well. But Challenge of the Americas, the 100cc classes, you can run the VLR or the IAMI 100cc. So kickoff event January 28th and the 30th. As I mentioned earlier, Challenge of the Americas has confirmed for 2022, and so we're working on their calendar right now in the background. But just to run them down for you, second event, Phoenix, Arizona, February 25th through the 27th. So February 25th through the 27th, that'll be in Phoenix, Arizona. And they will wrap up the Challenge of America events March 25th through the 27th at Sonoma. So that's always a fun race to talk about, because the Challenge of the America crew, going back for, a decade or so, it always seems like that Sonoma season finale is always very memorable. So a lot of good stories come out of Sonoma for the Challenge of the America series. And is that what racing is about? I mean, some drivers are using it as a platform to promote their driving careers, but a majority of us use karting for the experiences, the racing, the memories, and some of the stories. When I say stories, if you're new and you don't know what I'm talking about, right now I'm just thinking of, just sheep shit all over the track and a rain race. So let your imagination do the work. You have sheep shitting on the track and you have rain. So it sounds gross and it's disgusting and everything else. And then you just have to laugh, because I know for a lot of racers, when people talk about that, they just start laughing. It's like, yeah, it kind of happened. If you're wondering why there were sheep on the track, Sonoma uses sheep to keep the fire danger down, because it's on the side of a hill. So they use the sheep to eat down the vegetation. So, Challenge of Americas 2022. That is their schedule. January 28th through the 30th, round 1. Round 2, February 25th through the 27th. And round 3, March 25th through the 27th. Actually, I kind of misspoke on that. They're doubleheader weekends. So it's Saturday is a different event than Sunday. So it's separate events. But again, you get the point. January 28th, February 25th, March 25th. Challenge of the Americas. That's their Premier Series. They also have their schedule out. California Rock Championship 2022 schedule kicks off May 20th at Cal Speed. Then they go to Pat's Acres June 24th, Pat's Acres Racing Complex up there in Oregon. And then they wrap up their CRC series August 26th at Sonoma Raceway. And I will double check, but I'm pretty sure that's a combined event with Sonoma. And that is, those are always some of my favorite events, because it's big. big draw, big class sizes, great racing. So that's always a lot of fun as well. So Andy, thank you for your support of Norcal Karters. It is much appreciated. We'll have your events here live in the next day or so. And where do we have it? Again, there's so many. We have Prairie City Karting, their first event for the 206 weekend. They kick off in March. And they, once again, Prairie City Karting, they are doing the 2-stroke weekend and the 4-stroke weekend separately. So that's going to be exciting. And let's see, what else do we have going on? The NCK Road Racers. You will not find this on Norcal Karters right at this moment. It's a tentative schedule. I have been given permission to share it, but again, it's tentative. So bear with me for a second. And this, again, is for the NCK Road Racers. They are looking at kicking off their race season February 26th. Thunder Hill West. Then May 1st, also Thunder Hill West. July 3rd, Streets of Willows down in Willow Springs. August 6th, Thunder Hill West. And August 1st and 2nd, a 2-day event, Thunder Hill East. So right now they have a tentative 5-race schedule for 2022. And we are waiting on NCK to confirm support of Norcal Karters for the 2022 season. But again, they were supporters this year, 2021. So I don't want to just forget all about them. And that is their tentative schedule. And we also have Rok Sonoma. Rok Sonoma kicks off their season. Bear with me for a second. I need to take a sip. March 19th through the 20th. So March 19th through the 20th, Sonoma kicks off their season. And that will be the weekend before Andy and his crew, Challenge of the Americas, show up to Sonoma. So that should be a good event as well. And it's also a season opener. So season openers are usually pretty good. Let me gather myself here. I apologize. I'm trying to keep these shows down to about 15 minutes when it comes to events. But I do have a tendency to ramble. So I do apologize. I'm working on it. I'm actually following my notes. But, I got sidetracked with the swap meet coming up in January. And, again, explaining this can be used as a way to bring people into karting. Let's see here. And, sorry. It's almost a little overwhelming. I'm thinking about December 2021 at the end of the year. And it's like, all right, we're winding down. Seasons are over. The schedules are starting to come out. It's like, man, I'm looking at my notes and they're packed. So, Norcal Karters, you can find us on YouTube. Our subscription base has been growing. I appreciate your support. If you like what you're doing, go over to YouTube. Like and subscribe and share. Again, like I mentioned earlier, we are working on more how-to videos. And right now, my focus on the how-to stuff is basic karting videos. And if you're wondering why I'm doing it that way, my personal focus for karting and with Norcal Karters is to bring new people into the sport. We already have great promoters out there. We have great track operators out there. We have great kart shops out there. But collectively, as a whole, I don't see us doing a great job of bringing new karters into the sport. And so that is really my focus. And that's why I really focus on very simple videos to start with the YouTube stuff. So if you're brand new into the sport and you want some how-to videos, head over to YouTube. Just look up Norcal Karters. Like and subscribe to our channel. If I'm missing videos, send me a note. Again, I have 3-4 pages of notes on videos. So I add all of them to the to-do list. And it's just a matter of time and money to get to them. But please like and subscribe the YouTube channel. All of our live podcasts now are going to YouTube. They are also going to Facebook. So we are streaming live on Facebook when we're doing our live interviews. And we have a small presence on Instagram. We're growing it. As we do more and more track events throughout the year, you'll see more stuff popping up on Instagram. Of course, we have NorcalKarters.com. And pretty much with every show, if you feel inclined or going up a hill, or compelled to donate to Norcal Karters, we accept donations. So the easiest way is probably PayPal. But yeah, we accept donations to keep this project alive. We also have this particular podcast, our weekly update show. And this primarily goes through the podcast platform, but it also gets sent over to Facebook and YouTube in audio-only format. We were talking about the new for live stream, so that was great. I invited the sponsors or possible sponsors to support the NorCal project this year. Or if you have an idea on how you would like to support NorCal Karters and there's something you don't see, let me know. What I'm not short of is ideas. So if you're going to come to me and say, oh, NorCal Karters needs to do this, and you're not willing to help or pay for it, then it's probably going to go to the bottom of my list really quick. Like any endeavor, there's plenty of people with ideas. Where I lack the resources right now, it's time, which is very important. There's not a lot of time and there's not a lot of money to execute some of the projects. So the biggest request in 2021 was more live videos, more live race coverage. That requires money. It also requires time. But more importantly, it requires money. So if you're going to ask us to do more live coverage, please be prepared to open up a checkbook, because the live coverage, we need 3 to 4 people for crew, the cameras, etc. And all that stuff is available, but we have to pay for it. So keep that in mind. If you want more live coverage, it is available to you. We are working on selling ads on the live coverage to help reduce the cost of the coverage. But there's plenty of different opportunities within Norcal Karters to help support the projects and the ideas that are floating around out there. And the way I'm going to wrap up pretty much every show this year, and there's going to be a very touchy topic, but it's just too important to ignore. 2020, I themed 2020 as Year of the Club. And the whole idea of the theme for the year was pushing people towards clubs, or highlighting certain clubs that were doing a good job. And that's carried over. So I'm still doing the same thing. Even if a club isn't really supporting the website, but I see they're doing a great job, I will still help try to promote them if they are bringing new people into the sport and getting new people on the track. So that started off in 2021. That started 2020. 2021, the focus was, year of promotions, where I've really asked the promoters, hey, what are you doing for the racers? And not in a judging or condescending way, but the race promoters are so damn busy, and I understand it. They have a lot going on. And I know a lot of the promoters are always trying to find prizes to bring to their series so they can tell their racers, like, look, we have this prize. You should race with us because we're bringing you more value. I personally think most of the series do a terrible job at selling themselves and how hard they work at trying to gather these prizes. So 2021 was, my task as Norcal Karters was to help promote primarily the sponsors, very candidly, the promoters and tracks that supported Norcal Karters. I reached out to them multiple times and say, hey, let's do a podcast. Let's do this. Let's promote your sponsors. And again, the reason for that is when you have sponsors for a series, the sponsors help offset the cost to the racer. So I thought, that's easy enough for me to do. So Ashley and I were going back and forth on 2022 on what our theme is going to be. And we really just kind of had a couple of ideas, but nothing that was just like, oh yeah, that's going to be great. That's really going to help karting. And then recently, for me, I never know how to address these type of topics ever. There's just, for everybody, they're different. I don't know how to address it. But in 2021, we lost 3 racers that I'm aware of. So there may be more kart racers out there that I'm not aware of, but we lost 3 kart racers in 2021. And unfortunately, we lost them to suicide. And I started thinking about it. It's like, you know what? There's a problem going on. I mean, karting is not very big. It's not a huge industry. It's not a huge sport. It's not like basketball or baseball or football that every high school campus has a team. I mean, it's in Northern California, we have 5 or 6 tracks within 2 or 3 hours. We have, 4 or 5, kart shops within that same radius. We don't have a huge industry. And to hear that we have 3 racers that are no longer with us, it really just kind of opened my eyes. Like, man, we need to be probably more educated on everything. And so I started thinking about it. I was like, okay, well, that's going to be our 2022 that's going to be our theme. And I don't know how to word any of this stuff. It's just tragic. It's a tragic topic. We lost a Norcal Karter here about 6 months ago, and that's what really kind of prompted my thinking about it. And then here last week, we lost another one, and it's like, man, it's tragic. And I'm having even a hard time to talk about it. It just chokes me up thinking about it. But then also the way to execute a resource page on Norcal Karters. I'm not an expert on it. I have 0 answers on it, but I do know if I can at least share information, if I can share phone numbers, if I could share websites, if I could have a resource page on Norcal Karters, if I could close out my podcast with that type of information for 2022, if it just helps one person, that really is. So 2022 is going to be, again, not a good theme, but it's the theme of, suicide awareness. And if you're struggling out there and you're listening to this and you don't know how to reach out to somebody, find somebody trusted. If you don't have somebody trusted, reach out to me. I keep going back and forth. It's like, should we set up like a page, like a forum page? And again, I don't know anything about mental health. I'm a go-karter. I started a podcast. I have an okay webpage. So my expertise is not mental health. But yeah, if you're struggling with stuff, reach out. And if you don't have anyone to reach out to me. And from a personal side, I will do what I can to try to, put you in front of the right person or people that can help. But, and then to those that are listening, and again, I know this is a very uncomfortable conversation and topic. Check in on your friends, check in on your loved ones. I know we all get busy, and, sometimes our goals in life, our objectives, our vision, it is so tunnel vision. We kind of forget about those that are right in front of us. And some of the stuff I really struggle with when it comes to not just mental health, but just society in general. You have a phone. Almost all of us have phones. My daughter is 9 years old. I mean, she has friends with phones. We struggle with the idea of, giving my daughter a phone, like for communication. And, again, that's a whole nother topic. Why do I bring it up? We have social media. We have phones. We have computers. We have all of this technology for quote unquote communication and keeping in touch with each other. But yet sometimes it feels we are so far apart and separated than we were 10, 15, 20 years ago. But yet we have all of this technology at our disposal to be in communication with each other. And the reason I'm rambling about it is I'm kind of thinking out loud. I don't really know how to approach any of this. Again, I was thinking about setting up like a Facebook group or a page where people can come in and discuss and talk mental health, or talk about suicide awareness. And I don't know. I don't know if that's the right way to do it. I don't know if that's the wrong way to do it. But I do know we do need to use the Norcal Karters platform in a positive way. Because I would love to never have to have, a memorial type podcast again because, a racer or a family member took their life. It's just, again, there's so much technology for communication and there's so much information available out there that we should be able to communicate and trust each other. So if you have ideas on how we can handle it, let us know. I mean, and that's probably about the only time I'm going to say, hey, give me an idea for an area to go. Because I really just don't know. I don't know how to approach the topic. I don't know how to talk about it. Honestly, I don't want to talk about it. It's just, we're talking about racing and karts and events and having fun and all this great stuff going on. And then, sometimes events like this and when it just slaps us upside the head, it's like, holy shit. It's tragic. It's just very, very tragic. So 2022, again, it is going to be our suicide awareness. I'm working on the resources page now for phone numbers and websites. And about 5-6 months ago, one of my friends, she came on to the podcast and we did it as audio and as a video. We posted some numbers, some phone numbers and websites. We have a resource page that was just, signs, suicide awareness signs. And again, I really don't know how to navigate any of this. But I do know it would be incredible if we never have to, have a memorial on suicide again. Again, Norcal Karters is a resource for all of us, and most of it is supposed to be racing related, but, a lot of us are extended family. Some of my best friends are in karting, and it's just too important not to at least have the ability to know where to find information. So with that being said, I am going to sign off. Thank you for listening. And I am going to do my best over the next couple of event podcasts to keep them to 15, 20 minutes. And thank you again.